Hey everyone, Ryan with KPL here for our first video. By popular demand, I'm going to try making a YouTube channel. So we're going to start with one of our most requested topics, which is how do I use KPL just as a general matter? What do I do with it? How do I use it? How do I make it make my knives great? Fortunately, it's pretty straightforward. And for most people, using KPL doesn't have to involve any of these tools that I've got here. I did bring them along just because I did want to give those who are into the full disassembly, who are really fastidious about their knives, a kind of how-to for how to disassemble your knives and use KPL in that process as well. Anyway, to get started, I've got today on the workbench a Chris Reeves Inkosi large that I'm going to clean. It's pretty gritty in the pivot. I have not lubed it in quite a long time, and it's just kind of dirty anyway. I treat it as a true user, and it's gotten real dirty. To start the cleaning process, I'm going to go ahead and clean the knife as well as I can, just using cotton swabs. I've got those here, and a solvent like isopropyl alcohol. I like this because it's essentially non-toxic, and it does a real good job of cleaning the knife. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of this to my swab, get it damp. And I'm going to go ahead and clean all the surfaces of the knife that I can reach with the swab, just to get rid of all that dirt and gunk. I'll use it in between the scales of the knife and clean that off as well. Just doing everything we can to get the knife as clean as possible, because we are going to be using KPL without disassembling the knife. And it's nice to start with a knife that's as clean as you can possibly get it. So I am just going in between the scales, looking for those problem areas and removing dirt. And I don't know if you can see here on this cotton swab, but I'm picking up quite a lot of dirt and grit. And this is what happens to a knife when you use it in your pocket. It just ends up picking up all kinds of grime and dirt that can end up making your pivot gritty and dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that off as well as I can. Now that I've removed kind of the surface dirt that I can see, get right back here along the walking surface of the blade. Blow that out a bit. Now that I've gotten it as clean as I can, you can just go ahead and for this knife I'm going to use KPL Original, which is our standard weight lubricant. Unscrew the bottle. We've got this nice needle applicator tip that we include with the bottle, and I'm just going to add 1 or 2 drops of KPL alongside the blade, right where it interfaces with on this knife, the washers. This knife has phosphor bronze washers, but if your knife has bearings like this one does, the very same thing. You're going to add a drop or 2 of lube right alongside each side of the blade, near where it interfaces with those washers or bearings. So I'm going to add 1 drop on each side, and you'll see that KPL will really quickly wick itself into the surfaces between the washers and the blade and move itself in there. You can help that a little bit by moving it back and forth a bit, and really quickly you'll notice that your knife will start moving better. And what's going on there is Knife Pivot Lube has components that are meant to help suspend dirt and grit and break them up and pull them into solution so that they can't stick together and cause dirt and grit to touch those metal surfaces and wear them away, which is what also gives you that gritty feeling. So I'm going to move this back and forth a bit, let it lock and unlock just a few times. It's already feeling much, much better. And then I am going to take the clean end of this swab that doesn't have anything on it, and I'm just going to swab away any excess oil that's come out of the pivot. And what you'll notice as you do this is that you're going to pick up more of that dirt, similar to what you were seeing on the handle and parts. But KPL has actually cleaned your pivot just in those few seconds, and that's come off on this cotton swab. So I'm just removing some of that excess. Make sure that none is left and hanging behind. And that's it. That's as simple and as hard as it needs to be to clean your knife and lubricate it with KPL, just like that. As the knife gets dirty again and gritty, you can add more KPL. KPL will just continue to clean that pivot as you're using it. And there's nothing more you need to do. If you're not someone who likes taking your knives apart or who prefers not to, this will do all the work for you. It's clean, it's running smoothly, you add more KPL as needed, and that's it. Now on a knife like this Squid Industries Butterfly, if you're going to want to use this without taking the knife apart, same deal. You're going to go ahead and clean as much of that knife as you can, just using a cotton swab. Get rid of some of that dirt and grime. Again, this is dirty because I use it all the time. I've gotten into butterfly knives since starting KPL, and I love the trainers. I'm not good enough to use an edged balisong. Anyway, get that as clean as you can, and then you are just going to take a drop or two of Knife Pivot Lube. You can also use Knife Pivot Lube Heavy, which works really well on the balisong knives and is preferred by many of the people who flip out there. And you're just going to add a drop or two of this product to each side, again, right where the blade interfaces with those pivots. I'll just add one drop of this product on each side of the two pivots and allow that to work itself in just by moving the knife around, flipping it a little bit. And then once it has had a chance to work itself in, I'll take a cotton swab and remove any excess dirt or grime that comes out of that pivot and just wipe it away. And you can see already some of that has come out. We've got a little bit of dirt that's loosening itself up. Knife Pivot Lube will continue to clean that pivot as you use it. As things get gritty or dirty or tight, go ahead and add another drop or two of Knife Pivot Lube Heavy or original Knife Pivot Lube, depending on your preference, to keep things running smoothly. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, this has been requested quite a lot, and we'll see you guys next time.